The first sermon. It's been a while since the writing of the original religious testaments, and based on all the science discoveries that happened since then, there is a need for an updating rewriting if we want to keep their essential concepts significant. I will put my texts under the title The Last Testament and organize them in sermons for all time's sake. Since I intend to be a religious modern person, my perspective will be not just one of blind acceptance, but rather of rational questioning of divinity concepts, with the final scope of understanding and even explaining them. For centuries, we've equated God to a supreme being, initiating and participating in our creation, which resulted in a final product without a need for improvement. This concept negates at least two direct observations: the original chaos, incapable of supporting intelligence, and the theory of evolution. However, rather than contradicting these and other scientific concepts that we use so much in our daily lives, we should accept and integrate them in our religious aspirations. One of the problems we face today immediately emerges from my previous statement, and it is related to the conflicting duality of a life lived based on science, while our faith tends to come now from obscurity. However, if we decide to launch a couple of hypotheses in regard to what I mentioned earlier, would greatly ease the contradictions we are facing. First, we should accept the fact that there was no God responsible for our creation. Our existence is the result of the multiple possibilities appearing in an apparently infinite environment. So, if the past is not the place to find divinity, the only remaining temporal alternatives are the present and the future. Our idea is that God does exist in the present under the form of humankind, the keeper of intelligence. It is an evolving divinity which offers for now not individual salvation, but survival of the group. This will be the case until the eternal generation, which we define as the first generation with a lifespan longer than the scientific progress needed to extend life into infinity. Once the eternal generation stage is achieved, God will profoundly change its scope and be fueled intellectually by the need to infinitely prolong individual existences. This simple theory makes the principle of evolution the center idea of religion and changes its concept from static to highly dynamic and interconnected with our actual lives and progress. From a psychological perspective, this is the equivalent of accepting the divine not as love, but as hope. Hope, an everlasting reason for us to move forward, does not apply to the past, but motivates the present to better the future. It is easy then to see the parallel with an evolving concept of faith and God as a purpose rather than an origin. Like any other person on the planet, and possibly in the universe, I am facing my own mortality. I cannot do that without expressing my belief that future generations will have a solution for it. This is a foe that we'll have to fight and defeat, and its elimination is the very purpose of why we evolve. And even if new ideas are sometimes hard to accept, we should not necessarily attempt to change minds. The old, if insignificant, has a tendency to die out anyway.